Hi, I'm Sharlene Small. I'm the CEO of MGTYouth. I'm here to tell you basically where it comes from and what's made me do what I'm doing. So, don't really know where to start because I've been through so much. But I grew up with my mum in my side. She had me very young, and she went through a lot of abuse with the partners she chose. The wrong partners, and because of the abuse she went through, they were when they had the partners that she had abused me as well, sexually abused me. But at the time, I couldn't speak to my mum because she was very stressed. She was going through her own issues, and obviously she was getting abused. So I don't think there was much help that she could have done. And then, it went from then. It was just like it just went from. So my whole life was like different boyfriends from my mum, and she wasn't terrible, but the ones that she had weren't the greatest. So then, and we had a lot of. She couldn't cope a lot with, because she was young herself. She was finding it difficult. So my grandma would help me a lot. So my grandma helped. So I was in between Cholton and my side a lot. So I got like a balance of difference, which is why I'm glad about that. I got put into one time when I was younger. My mum had another little girl, my sister, the little sisters, and my mum was quite abusive to her as well. And I remember the first point of drama in my life was when mum was never very nice to us, and we was playing out one day. We was playing out, and she said to us, it was really weird because she started doing a mother thing, and she said to me, "Shall I come in? Come and have some juice and biscuits." Now, to you, it's probably normal, but to us, we were like, "Mum wants to come in to have juice and biscuits." But okay. So, well, that's nice, because as a daughter, you want to hold on to them nice moments. So I was like, yeah, okay. So we ran in. Mum had the juice and biscuits on the side. We've never seen this in our lives. I was like 12. And it was beautiful. So I sat there and we started eating the biscuits. And that's all I remember. I woke up and the house was empty. My mum moved. Moved out. So then I woke up. I was really dizzy. I didn't feel 100% right. And I remember waking up thinking, what's wrong with me? And I just remember feeling really dazed. And I looked at my sister and I thought she was dead. I was waking up. I was so scared. I was waking up. I mean, at this point when I woke up, I just seen the house, loads of stuff had gone. To be honest, the big stuff like TV was there, and the remote, and there was an ironing board up as well. But everything was cleared. There was loads of stuff to say was there. Everything, loads of stuff had gone. So I woke up. I'm waking up my sister. My sister, the way she woke up, I knew. Even though I was 12, I knew that's not the way you wake up. So I didn't know what to do. I know I should have phoned the ambulance, but she was alive. So you just think, oh, she's okay. Do you know what I mean? So when I went up to the ironing board, there was 2 letters, one for me and one for my mum's friend. So I opened the letter. It said a long letter to me saying, "Shara, I'm really sorry. I can't be your mother anymore." And basically, she's left us. And there's another letter there for her friend to tell her what to do with us. If I'm honest, I was glad. It's the weirdest thing ever. I was happy because my mum was horrible. And I was actually glad that I was probably going to find someone else to care for me more. And that's the weirdest thing out of it all. Everybody thinks you're going to be sad, but it was the best day of my life. I thought, I am getting away from this woman. I don't care. Went upstairs. She'd already packed our bags in black bags. So I'm there dragging my black bags. Like, Shireen, we're going to find new parents. My sister was happy. I was happy. It's weird because we're supposed to not see our mum again. Anyway, her friend came and her friend was dead worried. And she didn't take us to the home, which we was upset about. She took me to my sister's. My sister got taken to a care home. But because I was older, I think they had to go through certain things. I don't know what happened, but I ended up going to my auntie's house. I was staying there for a while. I did get taken into care after that, and then we got taken back to my auntie's. It's a lot of drama as well, because I remember when I was in care and we was in this car and we drove past. We was in like Scotland or something. When we came back to Manchester, we drove past an area that I knew. I tried to run out the car and jump out the car because it wasn't the greatest. And the care home was horrible. I think that's another story. The care home was horrible. It was a nightmare. It wasn't, I didn't have nice parents. You know what I mean? So eventually, I don't know what happened, but there was some paperwork. My grandma was fighting for us. She ended up getting me to go to my auntie's house. So I ended up staying at my auntie's. Still didn't see my sister. Didn't see my sister for months. She was in a foster home. My mum, back in the day, not as strict as it is now. So for somehow my mum was able to kidnap. She actually kidnapped me from my auntie. She kidnapped me from my auntie's. She came there when she wasn't there and got me back out of the house, and I was dreading it. But she promised me that she was going to be a better mum. It's a bit like an abuser, innit? They beat you and then they say, sorry, I'm never going to do this again. I'm going to do it's the same thing. Because she took me home and she battered me. Do you know what I mean? Not long after. We finally, I remember having to travel and go and see my sister a lot. She was trying to fight for my younger sister to get back. I don't know how it went and why my sister was there, but my sister was in this home. And that went on for about a year. We used to travel for ages on this bus, and she'd come home eventually. So we carried on. We moved to Russia now, and we grew up, and it was great. While I was in Russia, my grandma was still a big part of her life. So my mum used to fight her all the time. So my grandma, used to always try and get me to come to her house, and used to always run away, and it was just drama. So I was a lot with my grandma, quite a lot. Eventually, my mum had to move to my side to get the house fixed up because it was falling apart. So we went to my side, and my mum needed a bit of help with my sisters. So my grandma said, you're going to have to go back and help your sisters out. So I did. Went back, and that's where I grew up there, and I grew up strong there. In Charlton, we all played skipping ropes, and in my side, they all wore lipstick and walked around like women. So I was like, I don't know what to do. Do you know what I mean? They were a lot older in our age group. So I used to end up hanging around with girls there, and I started going to school there. And obviously, it's part of growing up as well, not just the fact I'm in my side, but it's part of growing up. You start seeing these girls, how they dress, and start dressing like that. Then you get in the male attention. I was tall. So being tall, I looked older as well. So I used to get a lot of attention. So then eventually there was this guy, and I always used to see him on the bike. I used to think he was cute, and he kicked a stone at my foot. I remember looking and smiling and thinking, oh, who's that? Now this is an older guy, and I've always had younger boys running around me. This was an older guy, and he just looked like he was always busy doing something, and he just looked mature to me. So I always seems different from the other boys. So I kind of smiled at him, and that was that. Anyway, eventually seen him, and he come up to me and he asked me out. And I said, yeah, and I noticed that he had quite a lot of jewellery and a nice watch. And I thought, what do you do? Now I'm from Charlton, I didn't even know. I thought it only happened on TV, this. So I said to him, what do you do? He told me he was a mechanic. And that. So I was like, okay. It's all right, no way. So I said, you're a mechanic. How old are you? 17. So I'm like, all right, no way. You've got a boyfriend that's a mechanic. Not thinking, don't you go to college or nothing. Anyway, I was 15, honestly, at the time. So I started speaking to him and started going out with him. And then I seen him one time in a nice car. It was a really, really nice car. So I called him and said, was you in a nice car driving? So he said, what, a red Escort? No, red Escort, Ford Escort, they were boom. They were the one. And I said, yeah. He goes, oh no, that's a car I've been fixing on for ages at the mechanic. I fixed up the mechanic and he's giving me now. I'm 17, so I'm like, oh, no way, you're lucky. So I thought that's how we got his car. Eventually now, I've been going out with him for a while, and I'm a quiet girl, I don't really go out a lot. I'm going to shops, and I'm actually getting, as I'm going out with him, I'm getting older now. I'm getting to 17, he's getting to 18, but more guys are talking to me and they ask me, who are you going? He's saying, oh, you got a boyfriend? And I say, yeah, I got a boyfriend. And then I'd say his name. They'd run, they're scared. They were scared. And I'm thinking, why is all these guys like, wow, is that your boyfriend? Right, okay, you see, you know what I mean? I was like, why is this happening? So anyway, one of my friends said, because your boyfriend sells drugs, Shah. I was like, what are you talking about? He sells drugs. No, he don't. He's a mechanic. Shut up, you. So I'm like, he sells drugs. Yeah, he's a gangster, man. He's in Donington. Don't you know your boyfriend Donington? I'm like gangs Donington. I heard of them, but I didn't even know who they were. He says, yeah. So I'm like thinking, Donington and Gooch. I'm going out with Donington guy. So I thought, nah. So I thought, I need to see him. So I spoke to him and said, why is everybody saying you're in Donington? And that you do drugs. So he's saying, he said to me, listen, my girl, I don't trouble you. You wouldn't have heard about what I was doing if people didn't tell you. I'm not bothering you with it. So you don't need to bother me with it. I don't get you involved. So you're fine, right? I have to do what I've got to do to help the mechanic thing. You know what I'm doing? Yeah, I've got to do that to do that. I said, no, I don't know what you do. So he says, well, I'm not asking you to hold anything. Some boyfriends are asking girls to hold the drugs and do this. I'm not asking you to do that. So just let me do it. You're not going to get in problems. I'm going to get in problems. I'm like, all right, cool. So what's the gang? And he goes, everyone always says that because I've got loads of friends, so they just put me in because of the area. They just say I'm done it in. So I'm like, all right then. Didn't see nothing off it because he was cool. Anyway, eventually as I got older, it started to be a party life. He started saying, why didn't you come? Because I was so quiet. I didn't even go parties with him. He's like, come man, just come to a party. Started going parties with him. When you start going parties, my dress changed. I started wearing little things. Then I'm with him more. I'm like, you know, it's like you spend more time with him in the day, and you with him and you see certain things, and eventually you do know what's going on. You do. He's there and he's with his friends, and the guys running in and out, and the phones are ringing like, yo, what's that? You wanted one, you wanted two. Nah, man, come to it. And you know what's going on. And you sat around it, but it's not bothering you. As long as you're not touching them drugs, it's not for you. As long as you're not taking it, it's not for you. You're fine. You're just sat in the house with your boyfriend. So anyway, everything's fine. Now at the time, there must have been a truce on where I was in. There was no trouble with Gooch and Dodderton. There was none. So that's another reason why I never seen a problem. Anyway, and you know, the Gooch guys, when I eventually know who they were, because what it was, I found out that basically, because I didn't even know anything, that on one side of the road, not even far, it was like one road split up the gangs. That's it. From when you're on this side, that's Gooch, and that side, you done it. It's dead weird. So anyway, I never thought nothing of it. And you do see these gangster films, and you think, well, that's not what it's like for us. It's just drama. That I bet you didn't even think it was real. You just thought it was. That's what I show. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it was great. We used to have water fights, this and that. We talked to everybody. Do you know what I mean? It eventually became the fact that I felt like a bit of a queen, because no guy would ever, you know, like when I'm walking on the road, guys might try and stop to talk, and they think, oh no, I can't. You're right, Sharlene. I felt great. I thought, oh, hey, no one can't talk to me because I am Carl's girlfriend. You know what I mean? I'm the man's girlfriend. What happened was, it was one summertime. Everybody gets wild that summer, don't they? And every single person on the block was out. And in the hood, yeah, everybody was out doing water guns. It was great. A lot of parties, everything's going on. One time there was a party, and all the boys were there, Doggington and Gooch. And now, before the truce, the gang does come from something. There was a war, and there was fights, there was arguments, people got killed and everything. And then eventually, obviously, the generation who were older, the younger generation that came up, they became like, well, it's nothing to do with us really. Let's call this truce. So there was a nice truce. However, when they've gone to a party, alcohol's involved. There's been an argument. It's like happens at every christening. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it was the wrong people arguing, because it was Gooch and Doggington guy arguing. So at that point, someone got shot, and then the truce, that was over. That was it. There was a gang war. That's when it became, I realised that what I was in, and it was too late. It was too late, because I've been with this guy 2 years, and everybody knows me for his girlfriend. So even if I'd finished with him, and I didn't want to, honestly, but even if I'd finished with him, I was known, you know. So we heard about this guy. Now, even at the time when I heard about this going on, I thought, no way, I hope he's all right. No, he's dead. No way. This still didn't mean nothing to me until the streets went quiet, because it was just like a quiet before the storm. It was a real quiet before the storm. And before you know it, you're walking down the road and there's gunshots. There was no more water fights. It was real bullets now getting flew down the road. The guns were going off everywhere. Everything was going off. It was just a lot. So it got to the point where my boyfriend pulled me up and says, right, I'm going to speak to you. There's a problem. And you need to be careful where you're going. So please stay on this side of the hood, because I've had people phoning me, threatening him for me, saying, I'm going to take your girlfriend and stuff. And he was saying he's not really like that, because even in the gangs, this is the thing for boys. Some boys join the gangs to help him, just, you know, it's friends, so they want to sell drugs, and they're not interested in killing nobody. But when it comes down to it, you've got to know how to back it. Do you know what I mean? You have to, otherwise your friends are turning on you, and that's what we got to. And the problem is, there's no rule book. It's not like when you start a job and say, these are the rules. This might happen in the case of a fire or an emergency. This is what's going to happen. You don't get that in the gang. You get this, yeah, you see, yeah, I know, man, you're rolling, and it's great until this happens, and you've got to be a soldier now. There's loads of people trained to be in the army, and then they do all these training, and even in the training they fall out. These guys are not getting that training. It's just, that's it. It's happening. That's action. So there was loads of shooting going on. a lot of shooting. Now, what happened was my boyfriend was a twin. Oscar and Tyson, it's not a secret. Oscar and Tyson, he was a twin, and he had a brother called Sailor. Now, Sailor was like the real big man in the thing. And we still did parties. We still did parties. And there was a party at his brother's house. So we went to I'm riding on my bike across the park, and I said, hi, and I waved, and he says, Shah, what are you doing? I'm taking my bike home. He says, nah, drop your bike back and come back to the party. I says, okay then. So when I got home, I was actually tired. I was so glad I was tired, because the next day I got a call that he's dead. He was dead. He was shot as soon as I left the party, about 15 minutes after I left. So I would have gone back to the party and been stood with him, and I don't know what would have happened. But he was shot dead. And he was shot dead in front of everybody, and it was at blank close range. He just went ballistic from them. And this was from his friend. And the problem is, a lot of people know who did it, but no one's ever going to say, because it's just, the thing is that when you do say anything, no matter, the police have got to understand that. They say they've got this protection out for you. We know the protection is no good, because as Black people, we know people in London, Birmingham, Leicester, Liverpool. Our families are not small. We're all, you got to understand that Jamaica, we've got family that come from Jamaica. When they first come to Jamaica, they go everywhere. They go here, they go there. So we've got family all over. So when you're saying we can take you away from the hood and we protect you can't protect us, because there's going to be someone that knows us, especially London or Bristol, and unless you put us in a total white area, which we're gonna have to contact somebody in our family. We have to contact. You can't make it in this world on your own. So you have to contact someone. There's going to be somebody that knows that person you're gonna contact. That's gonna follow that. There's no way. So, and even though I respect the police trying, that's not gonna help. It's not gonna help that protection. It doesn't help us, right? So nobody talked. So the next day it was really, really sad. And from then it just went hectic, more hectic. So that's when it became heat, because I never thought that anybody would have touched my boyfriend and his brother, because he was the big heads. He was like the king of the heads. So when that happened, I was like, I shaked. I never seen my boyfriend so scared. Like, it's really getting to him now. And he was very worried about me, because obviously the threats that they were having. There was a lot of threats about girls getting grabbed and raped and stuff. And I was scared, because I was definitely the one they really wanted me. Yeah. And I remember coming in my grandma's one time and getting threatened and having to run. And I've managed to get to my grandma's this time. But it wasn't nice, because my grandma lives on the Gooch side, so it was hard. Do you know what I mean, for me? And then so it was scary. That's when it became apparent that he did start asking me to hold stuff for him, because with all the raids going on, with the police getting involved now, with the gun, with the drugs and everything, I had to help as his girlfriend, what they were saying. So luckily I never got caught, but I was leaving stuff in my mum's house. I was leaving stuff in my friend's house. I was leaving stuff all over in people's houses that could have really done time. You know what I mean? So it was bad. On top of that, these guys, you're not the only girl. So on top of that, you're getting scared of the guys on the street. You've got other girls wanting to beat you up, and some of these girls want to use a knife on you. They want to slice your face off because of the two-timing with your boyfriend. And they see you as a gangster bitch, because you were a gangster, and I wasn't a gangster really, but even though people see me like that. So I had a lot of problems from girls trying to jump me on top of that, because I've got a boyfriend who's well known. And then it was horrible. There's times when I used to sit outside and sit on the field in the park, because there was a park opposite my friend's houses. We used to sit there all day. It used to be great. I'm the queen. My boyfriend's the top gang member. We used to drive up. They're shot. You shot. They're going shot. You shot. Now it's a case of, who's that in the car and I'm hiding? Do they know? Every time my car goes past, just hiding. And it was scary. But you can't stay in. And even as a kid, some people would say, so why didn't you stay in your house? What kids staying in the house? You really think it's never going to happen to you, and that you're all right. Even though when you're out there, you're probably hiding. You think it's never going to happen to you. And they always thought, if they did really grab me, what are they going to want to do with me? Really going to want to rape me? I don't do nothing to nobody. So I was sat outside my friends, and we was all there. The next minute, I'm missing a big story. My cousin was also involved, and he was 15, Benji Stanley, and he got shot, mistaken identity. He got shot in a food shop. And he was coming, he left my house from seeing me. And I felt so bad because I was in Birmingham. So if I was home, he would have probably stayed at home with me. Because it wasn't, he left. And when he left my house, he went to the food shop to get, well, he was riding up, and he got chased and ran into the food shop and got shot. It's a big thing all over in Benji Stanley. And he got shot. So the guy that he thought that mistaken identity, that guy was on the street where I was at the time with the kids. Now, I don't know this guy. I've never seen him. I don't think I had anything to do with it, honestly. But I hated him because it was supposed to have him and not my cousin. And he was a bad person. So it's not saying I wished him dead, but it was his fault, right? So anyway, he was a bully. Anyway, he ran down. He seen me, and I didn't even know. This is the problem. I don't know everybody of my boyfriend's enemies. I don't know everybody who he didn't like. There was some that I could say, right, I don't want to go down that road because he's there. But there's people you don't know. So it got to the point where people might say, Shah, and you're scared to look around because you're thinking, I don't know if they're going to say hello, if they're going to do something. I just know that I was sat in the park this day with loads of kids, little kids around me, all 7, 5, 8, sat there. And he said, I just heard, yo, is that Shah? So I've just looked right now. I got caught off guard because the day was so nice. I got caught off guard. So I smiled. I was smile and looked around. The guy grabbed me. Now, you know me, I've always been like with my hair. He grabbed me by my hair and put a gun to my head. And he told me, and you know the worst thing? Everybody left me. Everybody. Obviously, the kids ran off. But his friends left me. His sister left me. They all left me and so sat in the house. When I'm in the park on my own. And they're all screaming from the window, please stop. Please stop. No police is called, Don't call police. Problem is, if you call police, I might have got shot, so you don't call police. So he said, he gave me a message and told me, I can't reveal what he said, how he said it, but he basically gave me a message to say, I'm lucky, basically. So tell your boyfriend next time, he better be him he sees, because next time he sees me, I'm getting what he wants to get. So I stayed in my house and he let me go and he ran off. Obviously, my friends were scared, I get that, but, leaving me alone, I felt horrible. I really felt scared. That's when I thought, right, I'm going to be left on my own here. Do you know what I mean? All the time. So, after that, I had to stay at my friend's for a few hours. And then I went home. Like I said, my mum wasn't an understanding person. She had her own issues, so I never was able to talk to her about anything. Her reply was, well, just get out of it. What are you doing there? You're stupid. You don't understand. It's not. And then that was that. So then everybody always thinks, and the problem is, this is another thing, we always talk about the gang life of boys. We don't talk about the girls. The girls get ignored, and the girls are abused by these boys because they get, a lot of the boys are older than us, usually, and then they kind of swales into coming in with the money. Now, I'm not saying I was a money girl, but when you think, maybe I can have a nice life and maybe I can do things, you just don't think, and you don't see the dangers. You just see money and you see the gifts and the fact that he cares for you and he's got a car, you can get a bike, you can do what you're doing. And it's nice. So you really don't see the dangers. And then next minute, when trouble starts, he's putting drugs in your lap to hold and you've got to hide his gun and you've got to do this. You're not sleeping at night. You're thinking, suppose police kick off and there's a gun under my bed. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. It's horrible. And my mum could get locked up, it's all awful. So we do need to be speaking about that for the girls because it was scary. So, I never ever thought I would ever see a gun. Since it's got to the point where it was becoming an everyday thing where you just see them. Another time, the worst day of my life, this is when my life changed. With all the signs of having a gun point, because you came to know, you know what happens as well? You get a gun pointed at you and no one shoots. So after a while, no one's going to shoot you. Even when a gun gets pointed, you think, I'm not even scared of the gun no more. Because it's that regular and no one's shooting me. You're not even scared. Well, you're not scared, but you just think they're not going to really shoot. Anyway, do you know what I mean? So even that became, I'm going out, man. No one ain't shooting me. You still think it. And this is after going out on nights in, getting guns pointed at you. You never think it's going to be you. So one time, before I get to that stage, actually the one that changed everything really, I remember I was in a club and I was with my boyfriend at the time. He was an identical twin, and we was in the club and we're partying and everything, and we've come out of the club and we're going. We seen some guys coming in that we thought, nah, these are the trouble. So we decided to try and get out before they seen us because there weren't a lot of the boys. There was only a couple of and they never usually came to this club. So we come out, as we come out, they seen us, so what it does. So they ran over and he pointed a gun at my boyfriend's brother. And now at the time, I'm not even gonna lie, because this is why I do what I'm doing. I used to take E's. I never smoked cigarettes, so it was weird. That's what went up one extra took E's. We used to take E's and stuff like that, and we used to party. You have to take something to party for that night. So you be taking things like that. So that's another thing. You've got to be careful, because I'm drinking, I'm on drugs, and people are out to kill us. Not really the one, is it? So I've come outside, and not only that, the thing is, I could have got raped anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not in really proper control, but luckily I was okay. I've come outside, and I'm with this guy, but I'm still like, don't even know what's going on. There's a gun, what you're doing? So I just seen the gun pointing at his mouth, in his mouth. So I've jumped up, because I'm just not even with it. I must have been thinking his things are water gun or something. Pulled the gun out of his mouth and put the gun on me and said, shoot me. That's what I said. I said, shoot me. To this day, I don't know what I was thinking, because this guy's drugged up as well and he didn't care to shoot me, which I found out later on when he shot me, because I had to run. When I did that, the guy said, I'll shoot you, both of you. And loads of guys jumped in, because they could see that I was young as well. Loads of guys said, no, and pulled the gun up. When they pulled the gun up, the gunshot went off in the air. So it was ready to shoot us. We ran. You could actually hear the guns going. You could feel the wind. I could feel the going past. You could actually, I don't know if it was in my head, because I'm messed it up, but I could feel it. Felt like I was feeling. Anyway, we ran into this car, ran into the car, and I'm sat there and I'm like, I'm crying, and I could feel it's wet, but I thought it was just because I was sweating. So as Colin started the car, Colin said, there's blood. So I've looked and I've gone, Colin, I'm checking him. And then as I picked up, I've got my arm to check him. I've gone, I screamed. That's when I seen, oh, blood, it's me. Oh, blood. Drinking. At the time, I thought I was dying, because you just seen blood, and I thought I got totally shot. Do you know we never went to the hospital first? We never went to the hospital first. We never went to the hospital first. We drove to a flat. Now, obviously, I was all right because of where the bullet was, but it was squirting out. It was actually coming out. I said, Colin, no. Because what it was, we seen loads of blood, but we still was like, I didn't know I didn't know what happened. Do you know what I mean? So I said, Colin, I think I've really been shot, Colin. Colin said, you've been shot. So he grabbed me and attached me to the hospital. When I got there, luckily, it never went actually through anything. It just went. So I've got a mark right under my breast now from the gun. So, yeah, that was the scariest thing. And even what happens is, this is why when guys say they've been shot, and they're going, yeah, I know what you went through. You're lying. You did, because I've spoken to other people. You have visions, and even though mine was very minor, you have visions in your head when you're sleeping that gun killed you. You have so many nightmares, and I don't know any person that hasn't. And then you wake up in the hospital. It's the scariest thing ever, because you're waking up and you're thinking, am I here, or is it this what death is like? The first time I got shot and fell asleep and woke up, I thought, am I here? Because the fuss that they had over me as well when I went in the hospital, no, it was a lot worse than what we thought. And I was losing blood. So I could have been in, I don't know what could have happened, but luckily it was right through the flesh. Because of the way I ran, and it must have just skipped. So I was there, and I was in hospital for a while. Your friends come in and have a joke about it, and you laugh about it. And your mum comes in and your mum's vexed at you. Your mum's just mad. You have no one to talk to. There's just, all you've got is, right, you got shot, no way, man. And you're stupid. I told you don't hang around with, that's it. But you told me not to hang, you didn't tell me not to hang around with this person. You told me when you were already hanging around with these people. I didn't even know I was in a gang. I didn't know what was going on. I thought that was the worst of my life, Donna. I really thought that was the worst of it. And I thought I'd been through the worst. Anyway, after that, I've recovered and I was fine, but I know my mum didn't really want me at home, and I wasn't at home a lot because I ended up going into a hostel and getting a little hostel thing, but I never really stayed there. I still stayed at my mum, but she really didn't want me there. So another time, it'd been quiet. After a while, there was a lot of wars and stuff, but it got quiet down. They must have run out of bullets or something because everybody was quiet for a while. And it was peace. Well, it was kind of, there was a lot of funerals. There was a lot of funerals going on. And it was really bad. So anyway, one day I decided it was always summertime was the worst ever because that's when everybody was out. So I remember summertime, I see my friend. This is the hardest story I'm ever going to ever be able to tell. Stop. I was, because it's not just about me, so I've got to be careful how I say this one. So I'm walking down the road with my friends, 2 friends, and one of my friends, we all wanted, there was a chicken shop it's the best chicken shop in the world, it still is. And where it is, it's on the gooch side, unfortunately. But you would risk for your life for that chicken, I tell you. So in the day, you always used to do it, go there, get the chicken and go send someone in the shop, get some chicken. And that's how bad it was. You couldn't go in the shop, but we send somebody. So this day, we're walking out. You gotta remember, we're still young, so we're still singing down the street, and you know what I mean? And even having a laugh about me getting shot and all that. It just was cool. And then we're walking down the road, and we got past, my side, and we're on that side now. And before we even said about the chicken shop, I was saying, well, have you seen Gooch today? Have you seen them? And said, nah, I seen none of them. Probably out of town today, because it's summer, a lot of them went out of town. So we just thought, we haven't seen quiet anyway. It's been quiet for weeks, because weeks seem quiet for us. So we went across the road, and we've gone, and then I heard a car pull around. As soon as I heard the car, I knew the car, it's not going to be my car, it's a car. I know. I heard, oh, Mrs. Oscar. No, that's what they call me. What are you doing on the east side? You come on holiday? Come for a holiday instead. So I looked round, so I was kind of cheeky, even though I was scared. I was cheeky. No, let's get some chicken. What? I can't get chicken. Come and get your chicken then, Shah. Come, we'll take you to the shop. Come, we'll get your chicken. And I was like, I'm going to get my chicken. I don't care. Because I felt like I was a survivor from being shot. What can you do to me? So I just carried on trying to walk. Well, the other guys, I didn't know the car's packed. So the 3 guys come out of the car and said, you come into the shop really, Sharp? Oh my God, I turned around. I went to run off. As I went to run off, one of them must have, I don't know, got in contact with the other one, because another car came from the other side. So I thought, no, he's taking the mick. What are you doing? And there's like, come here, Shad. They didn't call me friends, they called us. And the other guys are coming out the car. You got to remember, these guys watch TV. So how it is on TV, that's what they're playing. It's not a joke. They play it out. They got out of the car, and I just seen a gun. I ran. I just ran. My friends, we all ran. We ran. We left each other. We just ran. Do you know what I mean? So we're running. We could hear the car speeding around. I don't even know where my friends are. I don't know we don't know which way everybody went. So we ran. I ended up sitting in a garden because I could hear about 3 cars coming out, and I really thought, no, this isn't a joke. Not that I ever thought it was a joke, but they're not just coming to mouth. They're coming to me to prove a point now. Plus, I'm thinking about all the other funerals now, thinking, no, they try, do you know what I mean? So I ended up, it was light when I got into this garden. It was practically dark by the time I got out of this garden. I went home. Back then, we didn't really have the girls didn't have mobile phones and stuff, so I didn't know what was happening. I did think about my friends, and I just thought they'd be all right. The next day, my mum woke me up out, and it was early in the morning. She asked me what happened yesterday. So I said, what do you mean what happened? I said, oh, my mum know what happened yesterday. I said, what do you mean what happened yesterday? She said, what happened yesterday? I said, some boys chased us. And she says, and then what? Where was you? Where did you run to? I said, that's a chase. That's to run in a garden and hide. And she said, where's your friends? And I was like, they ran off and went home. She said, so are they all home safe? And I went, yeah. And she went, no, they're not. They grabbed my 2 friends and they raped them so bad. The teeth, one of my friend's teeth, all of them come out. I've never seen my other friends. I've never ever seen to know what exactly went on with her. Never got to know. I know it was bad, but everybody knew what happened to this girl because she talked more as well. But they dragged guys, they all raped her, all had a time with her. And when you think of sexual, you think it's just normal rape. No, a man on top and he does that. No, they did everything to her. They used every part of her body that they could. They used it sexually. They got tramps off the street and held them at gunpoint and made her do things to them. She had to do everything. Never seen her again until 2019, and that was from when I was 17. I'm 43 now. and I hadn't seen her from till I was like, what did I say, 40, 41? I didn't see her again. And her teeth are still like, went there. She just, you know, she can tell she doesn't have false teeth. And by the time, it's the worst thing ever, because when you're the survivor, you're the one that's, why did you survive? How come it didn't happen to you? Furthermore, it was you that wanted to get. So everybody hated me because it was supposed to be you, not them. Even though it was, I'm not blaming my friends, even though it was my friends that dragged me up, and I said no, they dragged me up. You gotta understand, it was like I was a little girl, and I didn't know what to do except run. If I could have ran back and saved my friend, I didn't even know they got caught. But how was I supposed to fight? There was about 8 or 9 guys just there, and there was more when they got caught. What was I supposed to do? What was I supposed to do? You know what I should have done? Made the right decision, not got involved in the gang. Do you get what I mean? But that's why we need guidance to help you that, because when you're not being loved at home, especially for girls, and you haven't got a father at home, that guy gave me the love of a masculine man that I don't get at home, and I needed it. I didn't really get the love I needed from my mum, because she didn't love her. I don't blame my mum. She tried the best for her mental ability, because her mental state wasn't the greatest. So I love my mum because she tried her best, but I didn't get the love that I needed. And I ran to somebody for the love, and he was open arms with it. That's the problem. We all run to love when you need it. Do you know what I mean? So we need to teach our kids that if you're not getting it at home, you have to learn to love yourself quicker. Do you know what I mean? Because if someone had helped me do that, maybe I wouldn't needed someone else to love me, because he didn't even love me the way I needed to be loved. I wouldn't have had this story, but I'm glad to have this story because it helped me stop other people's. But after that, it really changed my life. It took me years to feel secure again within myself and feel like even though I always walked with my head held high, it was always a front. It was something, even though it's not that per se on the back of my head, everything I went through kind of made me not feel full 100%. So that was my word. Let's save that till last, because that was the one that made me get off. I changed. I tried to kill myself. And I only ended up in hospital with a mouth full of cold because they're trying to, and that was worse than trying to kill myself. So far, I'm not doing that again because I can't do that, right? But I was upset that I didn't survive because I just didn't want to be here. I used to end up, I did stupid things, like I'd actually walk down routes just to see if they could get me, so they could do it to me. Funny enough, I'd never seen them. I wanted them to rape me because I felt like I want it to happen to me now, because so I don't feel as guilty. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, and I had a plan in my head that when they do it, I'm just going to shoot myself afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Just so everybody's happy, because that's what it felt like everybody wanted. Do you know what I mean? So it was horrible. And for years, it was horrible. But people grow up and they see things for themselves. And it's weird because everybody went through something where they had to understand where I'm coming from. People's parents, kids went through something. You know, there was a lot of parents that gave me a hard time, and now their parents are locked up for killing someone. You're worse than me. You know what I mean? I didn't go. So it's like, so yeah, and I've never been able to really speak to, honestly, I started speaking to my son about it. I started coming out recently. Well, a few years ago, I first told my son about what went on in my life, and I thought he cried his eyes out. Because I'm coming from abuse anyway. I'm coming from an abusive household. My mum was abusive and her partners were abusive. So I think, I'm not saying these girls deserved it. I already had my fair share of abuse. So maybe God thought, no, Shai, you need to get you know what I mean? I'm not saying my friends said no, but he couldn't. Again, come on, God. Do you know what I mean? Give me a break. So I don't know, but like I said, I'm glad now that I can kind of pay back what I did wrong by just helping other youth now, and with the girls and the guys who just try and help them love themselves, and that quick money isn't easy money, because I don't know any guy, all them guys that were around me, all of them are broke now. They haven't got no money. They haven't got a big house. They're either locked up, dead, or no money. I don't know any man from that drugs game that's doing really well. I don't know. I really don't. And anyone that has, they got out the game and was lucky. But it's very far and few between. And I don't think any career is risk losing your life for. And even if you know something, this is another thing, all them guys that do have money and do have houses, the amount of stuff they've seen, the murders, the stuff they've probably done themselves that we don't know about, or they've seen, they've got mental issues now. So even though they're loaded, they've got a lot of issues. So I don't think drug life, as much as the money's good, it's not worth your life at all. And I'm talking about mentally, whether it's get taken or anything, the outcome has never been a good one. you'll end up doing what I'm doing, talking to youth, like the rest of the guys, talking to youth, telling them don't do what we did. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't, no, there's no other outcome. There's no other outcome. That's it. Death, mental issues, prison. You've got no, there's nothing else from drug life. So yeah, this is why I try and do what I do. And I've made other mistakes. I'm not going to say that from the gang life, yeah. I started being perfect and I started being a nun. No, I wasn't. I still was an asshole. Sorry, I still made a lot of mistakes and decisions. But that was because I still had no one to guide me what do I do. Now I know what to go on the right path, but I didn't know where do I go. So even though I still made the wrong decisions, I thought they were the right ones at the time, and they weren't. So there's people that you know, when I feel like even when you get locked up for crimes, there needs to be someone to help you, to guide you on your path afterwards, because everybody wants the right decision and everybody wants to be successful quick, unfortunately, a bit quicker as well, but we need to show them that, you know, anything worth having doesn't come quick or easy, and that's something. But yeah.